The following is a production of Learfield Sports.
Up next on UMass Sports Insider, Coach Kellogg is bringing his team on its annual trip down I-91 to Springfield. We'll preview Saturday's holiday showcase at the Mass Mutual Center against Ole Miss with the head man and two of his starting players. And we check in on the Minute Women's squad as they get a weekend off before continuing non-conference play next week. Plus, we head out into the community with several UMass teams, all of which are making a difference away from the playing fields in Western Mass. Bowling for strikes and not spares, it's UMass Sports Insider, beginning now. You're watching UMass Sports Insider, presented by Mafre Insurance, Coca-Cola, and Office Depot Office Max. Since returning to UMass's men's basketball head coach, Derek Kellogg has made a point to play at least one game every year in his hometown of Springfield at the Mass Mutual Center. This Saturday, he takes his team back to the birthplace of the game for a showdown against SEC foe Ole Miss. Hello there and welcome to UMass Sports Insider. I'm your host Josh Maurer. Coming up, lots of basketball in this edition, including in a few minutes we'll sit down with UMass's starting point guard and power forward, each of whom has been instrumental in the team's hot start to the year. Let's look back though to begin things at a great win on Wednesday night here at the Mulligan Center for Coach Kellogg and company against cross-state rival Boston University, a win that left the team 5-1 going into the weekend. Here are the highlights presented by Office Depot Office Max. Dante Clark gets a hand back from Holloway in the right wing, finds Holloway rolling. What a give and go to Jabarie Hinds. He'll find Trey Davis cutting through the lane. Oh, the C's parted from 17, no good from the left. Rebound UMass, Davis up ahead, it's tipped, got to Hinds. Driving runner is good for 6. Dante just outside the foul line, steps back, now beyond the arc. His three is up and good. Good ones on the other end. Trey Davis over to C.J. Anderson, who walks through the paint, gets right to the rim and bangs.
Well-rested, prepared, and BU on the tail end of a 5-game road trip. Maybe a little weary here, and UMass is taking advantage.
Dante Clark goes up, hits a right wing. And now we're happy to welcome on Coach Kellogg. This segment presented by Office Depot Office Max. Coach, thanks for coming by. It's been a good start to your season. What would you say has been the key to your success through a couple of weeks?
Well, I think obviously the guard play, having some mature guards with Trey Davis and Jabarie Hinds in the backcourt have given us some stability in a season where we've lacked that kind of in the front court and some other spots. But it's nice to see different groups of guys stepping up, whether it's Dante Clark in the backcourt to go along with those two. I thought Zach Coleman and Seth Berger have given us a nice boost in energy and kind of toughness.
Take me back to Las Vegas. I know you just had a game this week against BU, but last week, before Thanksgiving, you really tested your team for the first time against big conference opponents. Clemson out of the ACC, Creighton out of the Big East, a win, a loss. What'd you take away from that tournament?
Well, it was kind of a tale of two games, obviously. We shot the ball and played so great against Clemson. That was a fun game to coach and watch our guys kind of mature right in front of my eyes. We played fantastic defensively. We shot the ball well, and I thought we looked like a big-time basketball team. And then reality came in with the Creighton game where, it seemed like they were a little quicker to the ball. They had started making shots on us, and we didn't respond to where we could come back and make it a game. So we've proved two things. One, if we don't play well, we can lose to some great teams, and if we do play well, that we can compete with some high-level teams. So I thought it was a good learning curve for us, and it was nice to come out of there 1-1.
You know, when we first started, you pointed out your backcourt, those seniors, Trey Davis, Jabarie Hinds. Man, the three-point shooting early in the season, it's been fun to watch. You have 2 games where you set a program record for three-pointers made. Something's going right from beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that happens again here sometime soon. It's always fun to see when you're a three-point shooting team or a team that likes to play fast and get out and get after it when you start to make some shots. I think that gives you a good flow. It looks like our defense gets better when we start making threes and shots from the perimeter.
You say and have said that it's a work in progress with the young guys on the interior, with Holloway and with Hinds, and then Tyler Bergantino's now back to give a little stability and upperclassmen. How's it coming along in your front court?
Well, it comes along day by day. I think one day you look at those guys and you're like, wow, they're really good and they have a chance to be great. And then other days they look like freshmen and they may get outworked by a senior on another team. But it's nice to watch those guys mature. I think they both have a chance to be very good players down the line. and we need them to mature as fast as possible if we're going to make some noise in the A-10 conference.
Well, this weekend, Coach, this is a big weekend for you. I know every year it's special when you get to go back to your hometown of Springfield. It's the holiday showcase, and Ole Miss, a really good SEC opponent, is coming. Take me up to the weekend.
Well, yeah, they're very good. You know, I've seen and watched those guys on television a bunch this year and even followed them through the season last year. Be a really tough game for us, but it's always nice to come back home, to get back to downtown Springfield and play in front of a lot of family and friends. Hopefully playing a little better than we did last year in Springfield and kind of getting back to the winning ways in downtown Springfield. So we're looking forward to it against an SEC opponent. People want us to play those Power 5 conference teams, and we're doing it.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck on Saturday. Continued success to you. Thanks for coming by.
All right, thank you as always.
There's head coach Coach Kellogg. It's time for us to take our first quick break here on UMass Sports Insider. Don't go far away. When we come back, we stay on the hardwood and visit with a pair of Coach Kellogg's players, including a man already among the A-10 leaders in scoring, steals, and assists. We'll be right back, so keep it right here.
He drives, he shoots, he scores! That's right, it's basketball season and your UMass Minutemen are ready to take to the court at the Mulligan Center. Don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to get your seats for this season's premium matchups and exciting game day action. Choose your games with the Maroon Pack or the Musket Pack. Select 3 great games for only $55 or 5 games for $90. Great seats are still available and single game tickets are starting at just $20. Get your game on. Call 866-UMass-TICKS or visit UMassathletics.com to lock in your seats today.
Forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, focused on taking care of you and your family, providing freedom from worry everywhere you go. Mafre Insurance, a forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, providing friendly service with over 2,000 professionals taking care of you and your family. Mafre Insurance.
I'm getting ready to shop for school supplies, and I'm kind of super excited about it.
A number 2 pencil, it'll get you through the day. This is what you need.
Why didn't I get enough pencils?
Like, I'd open a pack of paper, and I'd be like, it smells like learning.
Love that sound.
Oh, the future is now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what I'm gonna get. This right here.
I am a student again, and I can do anything, and I have an agenda.
Leadership isn't given, it's earned, realized, accomplished, fulfilled, won. Leadership isn't given, it's taken.
We welcome you back to UMass Sports Insider. The Minutemen basketball team has a huge game on Saturday. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame's holiday showcase. They'll take on Ole Miss out of the SEC, and we welcome on a couple of guys who have helped the team to a great start to the season. Zach Coleman, forward, and point guard Jabarie Hinds is here as well. Guys, thanks so much for coming on. Jabarie, let me start with you. Boy, what a great start you've had to the year. Take me through what it's been like these first couple of weeks.
It's been fun so far, you know. Just going out there and finally competing against other people, I think. But for the most part, we've just been locked in, you know, just trying to, you know, listen to our coaches, you know, just going out there and playing hard.
Hey, Zach, it's been a season where you've really had to be counted on. Moving into the starting lineup with needing to really help out some young guys come along on the front line, and you've played very well. How would you assess the way your first couple of weeks of the season have gone?
I feel like I've been doing pretty well at the beginning of this season. I'm considered a veteran on this team, even though I'm a redshirt sophomore. I've been in the program for 3 years, so I do think that more was expected of me this year, but I felt like that was the case anyway, given this, you know, coming into the season. So I feel like thus far I've done okay. It's always room for improvement. I can do much better. So the ceiling is, you know, our ceiling is pretty high.
You know, speaking of a high ceiling, Jabarie, you've kind of raised your ceiling, I think, with the way you've played, especially the way you've scored the basketball early in the year. Tell me about what you've done to increase your offensive productivity so far this season with all these 20-plus point games that we've seen from you.
Staying in the gym in the off season, you know, I used to be in the gym just like this, nobody in here, just working on my shot, handle, you know, just all the stuff I need to make me a better basketball player I was working on this off season.
Guys, before we came back this week for the game against BU, there was a trip out to Las Vegas last week, right before Thanksgiving. I want to ask you what that was like. You had to take on a couple of big conference opponents. You had a huge win against Clemson. Zach, what was the experience in Las Vegas like for your team?
I feel like it was a pretty good experience for us. We saw how far we've come, and then we also saw, you know, still how far we have to go. Overall, we played pretty good. I mean, even in the Creighton game, we showed spurts of, you know, what we can do when we were locked in and focused. But I think that's just the next step for us, is just to always be consistent on both ends of the floor.
What'd you think of that trip, Jabarie?
No, it was a really fun trip. You know, we stayed in the MGM Grand Hotel. You know, there was a lot of atmosphere there. You know, spent time with the teammates, the UMass family. You know, the games was nice also. You know, we got a good win against Clemson, came up short against Creighton. You know, but I learned from that game. You know, we just came out a little sluggish, never bounce back from that. But now, you know, we just got to learn from it, like I said, and every game we come out, we just got to be ready from the jump and play.
So this weekend, there's a trip to Springfield. Every year, Coach Kellogg brings the team out to Springfield to play a game at the Mass Mutual Center. And for years, it's been a great crowd, a great atmosphere. I wonder what it's like for you guys to get to go play at that building, which is kind of like a second home court for you. Jabarie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm ready to play there. You know, last year I didn't have a good of a game there against Florida Gulf Coast. That's what we played last year. So this year I'm just going to come in with a better focus. You know, we play Ole Miss, so it's going to be a very good game, and just be locked in and ready to go.
Actually, good luck this weekend. It's been great watching you play so far. Thanks for coming out here today.
Thank you.
Zach Coleman and Jabarie Hinds joining us here on UMass Sports Insider. Time for us to take a quick break, but don't go far away. When we come back, we switch to the Minute Women Hoop Squad and catch up on the start to their season on the hardwood. Coach Dawley and company coming up, so don't go away.
He drives, he shoots, he scores. That's right, it's basketball season and your UMass Minutemen are ready to take to the court at the Mulligan Center. Don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to get your seats for this season's premium matchups and exciting game day action. Choose your games with the Maroon Pack or the Musket Pack. Select 3 great games for only $55 or 5 games for $90. Great seats are still available, and single game tickets are starting at just $20. Get your game on. Call 866-UMass-TICKS or visit UMassathletics.com to lock in your seats today.
Welcome back to UMass Sports Insider. We've already talked a lot about the Minutemen basketball team here in this edition, so now let's turn our attention to the women's side of things. And on Wednesday afternoon, Coach Dawley and her squad got a big non-conference victory in Rhode Island against Bryant. We'll begin by taking a look back at some of the highlights of that victory, presented by Peter Pan.
Back into the game, it's McDermott, the starter. Underneath Mulligan, the foul and the basket. Dillard, 3 from the corner, that's good. Hill. Now Stalwart driving on Winder, pulls up, the shot is good. On top, mismatch with Ivory Bailey. Goes to the hoop and gets to roll over the front of the rim. Working on Ram Sharon, spins, throws it up and in. Out on top, Dillard, a long 3 contested, but she hits it. Oh. Now a long 3, good. Free throw line, driving on Bailey, the foul and 1. And back comes UMass, good bounce pass. Timbilla racing down the court. Timeout.
It's time to turn our attention over to the Minute Women. They've got a weekend off as non-conference play continues next week. It's time to catch up on the state of affairs with head coach Sharon Dawley. This segment brought to you by our friends at Peter Pan. So, Coach, it's good to see you. Take us through these first few weeks of the non-conference schedule. What have you seen from your girls that you've liked, and maybe some things that you need to be working on?
Well, we've seen a lot of good things offensively. We opened up the season with a great outing by Bria and Sierra. They looked great. I thought we've had moments where Kymber looked great. Maggie's getting better every day. Rashida constantly looks good. Leah's getting better. She's a great 1, 2, or 3 guard. So we see so many positives. I think what we need to work on is putting both ends of the floor together. I would say our top 2 items to improve on, though, right now are boxing out and transition defense. And I think when we get better there, that's going to secure the half court for us a little bit more, and then we can have some fun in our different zones.
You had a nice Thanksgiving trip. You went out to Colorado with the girls, and that's a long cross-country trip to spend for a holiday. How did that go? When you're traveling on a holiday, is that kind of a bonding experience for a group?
Yeah, it's mixed. You know, it's a great bonding experience, but it's also hard for kids not to get home for Thanksgiving. So we had Thanksgiving together. We did have 3 sets of parents there, and that was nice. So you have to deal with the first time away from home, first time not at their home Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of that stuff, but Colorado's beautiful. It was a good tournament, tons of talent. And I think we lost 2 games, but we improved a lot on both ends of the floor. So we'll reap those benefits pretty soon.
We've obviously got several weeks still in non-conference play before you get into the Atlantic 10 after the new year. What are the goals, Coach? What do you want to see from your team these next few weeks as non-conference play continues? Just to solidify some things. Our offense looks good, but it could look great. We need to solidify some sets. We need some exits. We need. But I'm more focused right now on the defensive end, I think, than the offensive end. All right, Coach. Well, best of luck. Have a good weekend off. I know you'll be working hard, and we'll talk to you really soon.
Great. Thanks very much.
And now we welcome on a pair of the interior players for the Minute Women, each off to very good starts this season. Maggie Mulligan and Kymber Hill are here joining us. Thanks for coming by. Maggie, let me start with you. Last weekend out in Colorado, you had a really good weekend on the all-tournament team out there. Tell me about that. What was the weekend like for you?
Well, obviously the weekend wasn't exactly what we hoped it would be, but personally, I just tried to hustle as much as I could out there and grab any loose balls that I saw, and it was basically all about hustle for me.
Kymber, what do you think so far this season for you? How's it been going after a few weeks into the year?
I feel like we can do better, but for me personally, I have to be more a dominant presence on the offensive side.
Have you learned stuff from your first year to this year about how to be effective in there?
Yeah, definitely. Like as Coach Yo, like very famous basketball player, knows a lot about basketball, especially defense, has taught me like a lot. I almost wish that she had taught me in high school, because I feel like I didn't even know how to play real defense until I got here.
What's it been like working with her? For both of you ladies. Maggie, you can go first.
It's honestly like an honor, but it's hard, and she'll push you to your limits, but she gets the best out of you.
Have you learned a lot, Kymber, from Yolanda?
Yes, I have. Actually, like, defense is my goal. So learning more defense and contributing to my defense, I feel like I'll be a better player. So.
I know you ladies and your team, you have a weekend off now this weekend. What are the things that you and your team need to work on most as you come into the final few weeks here in December?
I feel like having our offense flow a little more will help us throughout the season and working on defense. So.
Well, continued success to each of you ladies. Thanks so much for stopping by here today.
Thank you.
Kymber Hill and Maggie Mulligan joining us here on UMass Sports Insider. It's time for us to take a quick break. We'll be right back. On the other side, we check in with some UMass teams who have been taking some time out of their sports schedules to make an impact in the local community. You'll see UMass athletes making a difference. We'll be right back.
Leadership isn't given. It's earned, realized, accomplished, fulfilled. One. Leadership isn't given. It's taken.
Welcome back to UMass Sports Insider. As we like to do in this program, it's time to take a look at some community service efforts by some Minutemen and Minutewomen. Already this year, many athletes from multiple teams have already taken time out of their schedules to spread some joy throughout the local community. And now we highlight some of that, presented by Mafre Insurance. In early November, members of the women's soccer, women's cross country, and men's basketball teams visited the Crocker Farm Elementary School. The visit, which was sponsored by the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, involved the athletes eating a morning meal with the youngsters as part of a subsidized breakfast program to promote healthy eating.
The main purpose of this is to show the importance of breakfast, so it's really cool to be like, oh, like, what did you have for breakfast? What's your favorite cereal?
It was pretty fun. We got to meet some exciting kids, some kids that love sports, some kids that dream about being professional athletes, to see kids that had the same dream that I had growing up, it was good.
It's really important. It just shows, like, how much we want to give back to all of them and how much we enjoy like spending time with them. And it's really nice to like connect with the community.
A couple of days later, Student Athlete Advisory Committee members headed to the Spare Time Bowling Center in Northampton, Mass. to participate in the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Hampshire County Bowl-a-thon. Those in attendance included members of the UMass baseball, rowing, swimming and diving, and track and field teams. The Bowl-a-thon is the Big Brothers Big Sisters' largest fundraiser of the year, raising over $55,000 in 2 days.
Really an outpouring of people from the community who raise money for Big Brothers Big Sisters, come bowl, and just have a fun time. And meanwhile, also many of our big and little brothers and sisters are here.
In the middle of November, more members of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee took a night to encourage fans attending the UMass hockey game at the Mulligan Center to sign the It's On Us pledge. The It's On Us campaign focuses on protecting women and men from sexual assault. Teams represented that night included men's track and field and women's tennis, and as you can see, many fans were willing to sign.
It's really quick. It takes 2 seconds.
Later in November, as Thanksgiving approached, the UMass men's lacrosse team held its annual turkey drive for the Amherst Survival Center. The team members raised money from the community in the weeks leading up to the drive, then purchased 70 turkeys, 5 hams, and hundreds of canned goods. They delivered those delicious Thanksgiving items to the Amherst Survival Center so that local families and individuals could enjoy a great holiday meal.
The UMass men's lacrosse for the last, I think I was just talking to Greg, 6 years or 7 years, has been sort of adopted the Survival Center and has been incredibly generous around Thanksgiving time with donating turkeys and hams. Oftentimes we get turkeys from the food bank, but a few years ago the food bank told us that they were going to cut off our turkey supply. The UMass lacrosse team was able to give another 70 families turkeys. This year we're not getting any turkeys from the food bank, so it's incredibly helpful. Like there's going to be at least 70 families right now that are going to have a full and complete Thanksgiving dinner thanks to the lacrosse team.
Well, it's just nice to come together and give back to the community in a way that we're not able to every day, so it's a good way to come together.
Thanks to all of those student athletes for representing UMass so well in the local area. We'll be back to wrap up another edition of UMass Sports Insider right after this. Minutemen fans, join us in Boston on Tuesday, December 15th for a night with John Calipari at the Colonnade Hotel. Coach Cal will be honored at the event prior to his banner being raised at the Mulligan Center the next night. Expected to be in attendance are former players Marcus Camby and Lou Rowe, along with current head coach Derek Kellogg. To get all your information, visit umassalumni.com/Calipari. Hope to see you at the Colonnade.
Forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, focused on taking care of you and your family, providing freedom from worry everywhere you go. Jabarie Insurance, a forward-thinking insurance company with a global network, providing friendly service with over 2,000 professionals taking care of you and your family. Jabarie Insurance.
I'm getting ready to shop for school supplies, and I'm kind of super excited about it.
A number 2 pencil. It'll get you through the day. This is what you need.
Why didn't I get enough pencils?
Like, I'd open a pack of paper and I'd be like, it smells like learning.
Love that sound.
Oh, the future is now, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what I'm going to get. This right here.
I am a student again, and I can do anything, and I have an agenda.
Well, we certainly hope you've enjoyed this edition of UMass Sports Insider. Don't forget this weekend, the men's basketball team is in Springfield as part of the Hall of Fame's Holiday Showcase. They'll host Ole Miss out of the SEC at 4 o'clock on Saturday. UMass hockey is heading to the Midwest. A pair of Hockey East games against Notre Dame on Friday and Saturday night. Good luck to Coach Micheletto and company. Our next new edition of the program debuts next week. More hockey and more hoops talk. Until then, have a great weekend. This is Josh Maurer saying thanks so much for watching.